Los Ratones versus NAVI. For those that don't know, I mean, NAVI is actually doing pretty well right now in the LEC. I think that it's hard to know who the top teams are because in your mind, if you're an LEC watcher, you've watched for a while, you believe the top teams are like KC, Fnatic, G2, and MKOI. That's what you would think. But realistically, right now, the best teams are KC, Giant X, and NAVI. G2 has been playing pretty poorly. I mean, they almost lost to KCB. They looked really rough versus Vitality. Just generally, they haven't been looking good. MKOI has been hit or miss. Some games they look really good. Some games they've looked pretty shit. Fnatic has kind of been the same. I guess the strongest team right now is probably KC, coming from just pure average level of performance. They look like the strongest team, but it's really anyone's game. LR versus NAVI. So they go for second pick right of first selection. So NAVI chose red side. So teams are choosing red side over blue side pretty frequently now. And then Los Ratones is choosing second pick here. Second pick is pretty good, especially if you're a team like LR who likes to play a lot of like counter picks. LR is not the team where they want to slam like Azir on first pick, Jarvan on 2-3 with like Rumble and just fucking play the game like that. They normally ban Rumble almost like every game. And they just kind of want to play their champions. Like right now, LR has been having a lot of success with Mundo jungle, with Caitlyn, with Reckless playing enchanters. Nemesis has just been playing essentially strong mid laners, so either like Azir, Orianna, Ryze type champs. And Boss has just been playing his own champion pool, which has been Kled, Volibear, Gragas, Poppy, which looked pretty decent. Boss's standard champions. It's and ends up getting banned every game. So yesterday when I was VOD reviewing, I thought that NAVI would ban 3 champions. I thought that they would ban Sion, Mundo, and Caitlyn. That's what I thought teams should do against LR right now. Doesn't have to be all 3, but I do feel like the more I thought about it, I think the Mundo is probably the most important ban. When you consider how Velia has actually played for LR, he goes for a lot of really psychotic invades, and he does a lot of things in the game that only Mundo can do as a champion, and he hasn't really proved himself on the other champions. Like when he played Jarvan, it looked pretty poor. He plays Pantheon at an alright level, hasn't played any Nidalee. Yeah, he hasn't even played that many champs, really, but yeah, I think the Mundo is a key ban needed for NAVI to be able to play the game. Mundo ban, yep. Expected. Orianna ban from LR. Okay. Was it yesterday that they did both? I think they did Orianna and Azir bans, and they first picked Ryze. That was their strategy. Ooh. So NAVI does a Nivea ban, so they actually don't ban the Caitlyn, which when you see in a Nivea ban, very obvious the direction that NAVI wants to go. They want to go with the first pick Ryze direction. And now I wonder, is LR going to ban Azir or are they going to ban Rumble? I feel like both these chimps kind of need to be banned. I mean, they could give over Azir and then play Talia Vi or Talia Pantheon. That is something that I've seen some LCK teams do recently, where you just try to trade Talia for Azir. And the reason why you do this is because like when you take out Orianna, then you can kind of trade 2 for 1. People consider the Talia side a better matchup into Azir in isolation. It's like easier to play for a lot of people. And if you do have all the champions in, which means essentially you have Vi and Pantheon, if you have access to those champions, then you feel pretty comfortable that you're going to be able to lock down the Azir. Orianna has combos herself. The main one is Orianna Nocturne. You can also play Orianna Jarvan. But Orianna Nocturne is not actually that good into Azir. It doesn't do anything to punish on Azir. It is just kind of an annoying combo in general to play into. Let's see what LR does here. They go for the Azir ban. All right, so Ryze is up. Ryze is up. Rumble is up. I mean, Crowny's Caitlyn is obviously up. In terms of AD carries, I mean, obviously you have the Varus taken out, so at this point, it's kind of just preference. Like, I've seen people play all different types of stuff. At this point, Jarvan is up. Jarvan is considered generally a really strong champ. And Ryze first picked. Okay. So let's see what LR responds. I mean, normally they've just been playing Caitlyn in these spots. I don't think that they play Caitlyn because they think that it's like super, super fucking OP. It's just that they want to be able, they would rather counterpick with most of their champion pools. Like, they're not that good at slamming the OPs. So they want to just give space for people to pick at better times. And Crowny is able to pick Caitlyn into anything outside of Varus, obviously, and do at the minimum okay into whatever he's playing against. And Pantheon. Okay, so Velia's Pantheon. It does seem like that is his second best champion after Mundo. Also, a lot of times people don't want to give over Pantheon and Ryze together because it makes playing on side lane super, super horrible. If you're playing into Pantheon and Ryze, you essentially just have to draft a tank top when you play into that, because if you draft a carry on one side and then you have your mid laner, which is most likely going to be a carry on the other side, then it's so hard to defend them both at the same time. Like, no matter where you go, somebody is just going to get Ryze ulted on or Pantheon ulted on, or your bot lane's going to get Ryze Pantheon ulted on, and you won't be able to play the game. So generally, people would like to split up these champions when they can. Okay, so Navi is looking at Jhin. Jhin is something that people like playing into Caitlyn specifically. Jhin can just play into Caitlyn Varus pretty easily. Those are the matchups that Jhin is good at. It's not that strong into other things that people play a lot of. It's not that strong into like Corki, Yunara. It's not that strong to Ezreal, but it is fine specifically into Caitlyn and Varus. So that's why I believe Samdi is playing that. And Rumble for Navi. I mean, this is the unfortunate part, right? Like, if you were a top tier team, you would want to trade like something like Rumble Jarvan for Ryze. Like, that would be considered a pretty good trade. Then they might hit you with like the Ryze Pantheon, but if you have super OP champs like that, like, Rumble isn't a true carry top laner in the sense of other carry top laners, because as Rumble, you can actually cheat the macro game. You can cheat the mid game because you can ult waves from super far away, and that makes it way easier to play the game, even if you are like a carry top. I mean, Rumble is just a broken champ. It's kind of a do-it-all champ. It wins almost every lane. It scales pretty well throughout the game. It's good in team fighting. It's good in skirmishes. It has good wave clear on side, so it's extremely hard to dive. Yeah, I mean, just almost everything has MR shred in the kit, decent utility. It's relatively tanky as well with your scrap shield. It's just a busted champion. So, oh yeah, I actually saw this on Twitter. Now that I remember, I saw this on Twitter. I didn't like internalize what it meant, but K'Sante is a fine pick here. Somebody on Twitter was saying, who would want to play K'Sante to these champs? I think K'Sante is actually one of the best things you can pick here. I think it's actually the best pick possible top lane in this situation. If you play anything else into Rumble in this situation, you are going to end up dying a million times. Like, it is just going to be too hard to play the game. Not that many champions beat Rumble straight up anyway. I mean, you could play things like Aurora. You could play range champions in general. You can play K'Sante, but out of all those options, K'Sante is a champion that's pretty good versus Rumble and lane. It pretty much stonewalls the lane, and then on top of that, it is good into what Navi is showing, because Navi is showing side lane pressure, and it's obviously one of the tankiest champions in the game and one of the hardest to dive because of your W, because of your E. Essentially K'Sante's entire kit. On top of all that, K'Sante is actually a really good pairing with Pantheon, because K'Sante has a ton of CC within the kit, and that helps allow Pantheon to kill a champion like Rumble. So you can actually kill a Rumble with K'Sante Pantheon, and because you have that threat, Rumble can't play the same way that a Rumble would want to play to develop a big advantage in the lane. A scary thing about drafting like this is that Anivia is banned already, and normally into Ryze, there's only a certain amount of champions that people really want to play. For example, Cassio. Some people play Malzahar, so you have like Cassio, Malzahar, Anivia. Some people will play Talia. There's not that many champions to play, so it's a little bit scary if Navi just goes for a strategy where they just like ban out mid laners, and then Nemesis doesn't have anything to play specifically into Ryze, because Ryze is very good versus melee champs, versus the control mages like Syndra, Victor. You just build upgraded Merc Treads and you're just able to play the game exactly how you want. And then those champions have the same problem where they're just much weaker in side lane than Ryze, and Ryze just has a pretty good normal matchup. So Braum ban is pretty interesting. Okay, so this is actually something I thought about. I think, and this is not the direction, this is the one part of the draft I remember, I think that it is a good strategy versus LR to ban out Braum and then just play an engage support. Like, you just play Nautilus. Like, if Braum is banned, you just play Nautilus, or you play Leona, or you play Rakan, or whatever is your preferred engage support, and you just slam that so Reckless cannot easily play an Enchanter, because I don't believe that Reckless is the type of guy where when it comes to LEC level, I know he was able to play his champions in ERL, but I think when it comes to LEC level, he doesn't want to play Alistar versus Nautilus. Like, that is not the matchup that he's looking for in these games. He wants to play Nami versus Karma, or like, you know, Janna versus X range champion, or Lulu versus another range champion. Like, whatever the matchup has to be. You know, Lulu Yunara versus Bard, or, you know, Ezreal Karma into a Lucian Nami lane, or maybe he would be willing to play the other side of that as well. Like, those matchups are all going to be much better for Reckless. So I was surprised that this Braum ban didn't mean that Navi wanted to play Engage, because I don't think that you should care about Braum with Rumble and Rise. There's essentially nothing right now that you need to block. So I don't understand why you'd ban Braum if you didn't want to draft an Engage support. Malphite angle for LR in this draft would be decent. I don't see why. No. I don't think Malphite would be good. I don't know when you're saying Malphite could be good in this draft, but enemy team is showing 2 AP champions, and they already have their top jungle locked in. So if you play Malphite into Rumble, you can forfeit the game on the spot. If they picked it 1-2 into just Rise, there's no guarantee that Malphite's going to be good within the game. Also, if you picked it there, there's a chance that they do something like Blind Silas top. And if they do something like Blind Silas top, who knows if Boss has like the ability to counterpick, they might even just Blind Silas jungle and play, some type of 80 top lane champion, which I think would probably work into LR. So I don't think that you would ever go Malphite in this game. Is Galio bad? Galio is not bad because they have double AP, but if your top side is Galio, Pantheon, Cassante, you're pretty fucking low damage in the game. Like, I don't think that would work with what they have here. I think Galio normally wants to play with things like Jax top, Camille, Mbessa, Renekton. Champions that deal damage are much better with Galio than things like Cassante. So you're never going to pick Galio in this spot. I mean, I shouldn't say you're never going to pick Galio in the spot, but it's generally kind of hard to pick Galio in this spot, because if you pick Galio and then you have Pantheon, Cassante, there's a lot of champions that you could draft in the jungle that would just make it unplayable. For example, if you had Galio, Cassante, Pantheon, because they pick second, right? So they're going to draft right here. If they picked Galio on 4, because essentially you're going to want your support to counterpick, right? So if you pick Galio on 4, the enemy team is going to lock Aatrox jungle, and Aatrox is going to play into Galio, Cassante, Pantheon, and it's going to be extremely impossible to kill him with your team comp. You move Pantheon to support for Malphite jungle. I mean, you could move Pantheon to support for Malphite jungle, but Pantheon Caitlyn is not really a lane. Caitlyn is not that good at straight up all-inning early, which is kind of what Pantheon wants to do. It's more of like a poke champ. Like, normally with Caitlyn, I mean, you can play with like Elise, because Elise is very specific, where Elise has insane amounts of damage. I mean, you could play with Pantheon, but I would be shocked if Reckless was the guy that would ever play Pantheon at LEC. Like, that's the opposite of Reckless playstyle. I don't think he would ever play like a racist champ like Pantheon or Pyke or Elise or, whatever. That's just not what Reckless does. Reckless wants to play enchanters. He wants to play champions that provide value in the game, that are solid, that you can play the game in a stable way. He's not really good at making creative plays or creating a ton of action within the game. So Nautilus is banned. So maybe Navi wanted to go Nautilus, and that's why it was banned. I mean, when you ban Braum, normally you're setting up for something like Nautilus, but I still think that if you blinded Rakan, I don't know how LR would play into that. Now, maybe they're afraid to go Rakan because they're afraid that they're going to get abused too hard in lane by something like a Karma or Lux or one of these types of champs, which I think is fair enough. But yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of games where it feels like LR is opting into enchanter matchups, and Talia is banned here. I mean, Cassio is still up, but Cassio is not looking good this game. There's 0 dashes on the enemy team, and the lane is not that insane for Cassio. It's also not that insane of a champion right now in terms of overall strength. They end up going Aurelion Sol. I'm surprised by the Aurelion Sol, because to me, when I'm looking at Aurelion Sol here, I mean, the champion is like pretty fucking weak. I don't think you'll ever be able to like actually lane into Rise. Rise will just get push and be able to move on pretty much every wave. And the enemy team doesn't have a ton of melees, which is normally what Aurelion Sol wants to play into. So I'm not a huge fan of Aurelion Sol into comps that have decent amounts of range. And honestly, I'm not that big of an Aurelion Sol fan when it comes to, Fearless draft game 1. You're playing, I mean, obviously this is BO1, but even if you're playing game 1 of a series in Fearless, I think it's extremely hard to fit in Aurelion Sol because there's so many power champions up. It's like, if you just think about just mid laners, you have Rise, you have Orianna, you have Talia, you have Azir, and then you have like Galio, Yone, Akali, all these extra champions in there. It's just, there's so many champions to play, and Acel just doesn't have many good matchups into any of them. Yeah, it's generally not that strong of a champ. It ends up being Bard Blind and a Xin Zhao into Karma Caitlyn. I mean, Karma's a pretty decent pick. It's good with Caitlyn, completely fine / good into Bard. It's generally a good champion into Rumble because Mantra Shield is very good at getting people out of the Rumble ult. But I think that this comp is like all over the place from LR. I don't really know like how Pantheon's going to function in this game. Maybe you just play off your bot prio, but normally Pantheon, you want some types of combos. You want like Pantheon Ari, Pantheon Talia, Pantheon Rise, things that can play with the Pantheon where you can, go mid, gank somebody, kill them, blow a flash, ulti a side lane, make another play. It doesn't feel that easy to make plays, so I'm a little bit scared for the Pantheon within this game. Mantra Q actually ended up connecting onto Sam D. See how this goes. Kobe's chilling. Oh, that's rough. Because normally you want to kind of hump them with Caitlyn Karma. Like you want to find ways to like land both of your abilities together, and then you slow push the wave, and then when they're under a turret, you give them absolute hell under the turret. The term we use in C9 is like hump them, like you just hump them under turret, throw spells at them, etc. But if you end up missing your early abilities like that, it is generally hard to get into the position you want to get into. When you miss the abilities, obviously it allows them to like walk up and even up the wave, and it's really hard to like stack a wave at that point. Okay, so Crownie has to pop barrier there because they missed. Going pretty well. And Paris want to electrocute in this lane for the combat power. Heal barrier. Lane is looking pretty even. And not a bad start. I mean, they both have fleet. They're both going to be healing up. It's good from Paris to do that. Super good flash trade. The reason why the flash trade is really good is that Caitlyn generally wants to be under your turret, like we said, right? And when Caitlyn loses flash, it's very hard for Caitlyn to then get into a position where the Caitlyn is able to be under your turret and, use abilities, because they're normally scared of getting jungle gank. Now, obviously, this game, there's a split map here where Pantheon walked in. It's pretty smart what Pantheon does. So this is the path. I've talked about this path before, just if people weren't watching jungle. I was talking about bot lane first, but people weren't watching jungle. This is the path that I call the Pioshik path. He's somebody who did it in LCK. I think it was first game of the season he did this. Maybe it was second series. I forget exactly which game. One of the early games of the season he did this. And what happens is when you have these types of bot lane matchups with 4 ranged champions, all the bot laners want to get into the lane and fight over the brushes and try to get like wards in the brushes, try to kill the enemy ward that they put in the brushes. It's really important for the lane, right? So Reckless goes and drops a ward immediately. And if Navi is not standing here and LR is able to get like position in this brush, like let's say they don't ward, and LR is able to get position in this brush, then they'll be able to like, as the wave comes in, just slam them with a Karma Q, a Mantra Q, and a Caitlyn Q from the brush, and they're just going to take so much damage coming into the lane. So when laners do this, that means that there's a point open. So the point that's open is this tri-bush point. So the Pantheon is able to walk directly into the enemy jungle unseen, and this is with the knowledge that in most situations, all 4 of the bot laners are going to be walking directly to this brush and fight for the middle line brush. And he ends up getting the full side from LEC. Now here's the other thing. Pantheon in direct fights, if they're even HP and both have red buff, Pantheon wins 1v1 versus Xin Zhao. The problem here is that because he started blue, he doesn't have a red buff, so he doesn't have healing, and he's already popped his pot. Or did he not buy a pot? Bro, don't tell me he didn't buy a pot. Nah, bro, you gotta buy a pot. Velia didn't buy a pot, bro. Oh, God. Why does Velia have no pot? I'm a huge hater of not buying a pot, because most of the time on Pantheon, you go Sundered Sky in competitive play, most of the time, you're not going to be able to base on like 1050, which would be triple longsword, or you're not going to base on 1100, which would be double longsword ruby crystal. So it's very rare that having the pot is going to delay any of your buys. Normally, delaying the pot is good in situations where you want a first item and a greedy item like Dirk. Let's say you want to get a greedy item like Dirk. Sometimes, for example, Jace can do this, where he starts no pot, full clears the jungle, does crab, goes to the lane, procs first strike one time, and then because he saved that extra gold and he got the first strike, then he can get Dirk on his first base. And that changes the way that fundamentally Jace spikes, right? But not buying a pot here is crazy. Like, I don't fuck with not buying a pot on a champion like Pantheon. Like, I mean, it simply is just pure HP that he's missing in this situation. So he's invaded now. The bot situation didn't go well for him. I mean, he should, like, theoretically, he should have bot prio, but if he had a pot here, man, like, and Karma was coming, he would be able to fight way better. And now he's just giving up his bot side. I mean, it's not all his fault, right? Like, it's mostly the fact that Karma and Caitlyn did not win the lane like they should have. They just missed too many abilities. Sometimes that's kind of how laning works. You just miss too many abilities and the lane doesn't go the way it should. But not being able to fight this is really, really fucking sad. Like, the planning has already kind of gone out the window from LR here. Rylak goes and he's just taking enemy Krugs. He took the enemy Raptors. So ahead now. And the thing is, all of his camps are respawning first. So unless Velia, like, somehow was able to get Wolves, he is going to be extremely behind. And in this situation, you see Xin didn't even take Crab. Yeah, he didn't even take Crab, right? Or does he take Crab? Does he take Crab and smite it? He takes Crab. He does take Crab. He just one-shot the Crab. Okay, I thought he wasn't going to take Crab here just to be on his top camps, but no, he takes Crab. And now he's going to his top camps. He has a ward anyway in Tribush, so he knows he's good. And now the problem is, like, the next camp that's spawning for Velia is his Raptors, but they're not spawning for like a minute. They're not spawning for more than a minute. So Velia is completely homeless right now, and Rylak has his whole jungle up. It's all respawned as well. Would you commit so hard to trade bot knowing your jungle loses without red? Is that a mistake? No, I mean, your jungle should be fine. Like, Velia should have a pot, and he should be in better condition. But if they have push bot, the Xin Zhao is not going to invade Pantheon's bot side. Like, Xin Zhao could end up fucked, because Xin Zhao's, like, maybe he, like, crosses back and tries to, like, look at the Pantheon. A lot of times what will end up happening is that if Xin Zhao has no camps that he can do on his side, and the enemy jungler has his full jungle up, what the Xin Zhao will try to do is just look at the enemy jungler. So both junglers will just try to stare at each other. Well, not both junglers will try to stare at each other. The Xin wants a situation then, or the person that has their jungle down wants to just stare at the enemy jungler, because if the enemy jungler has their full jungle up and your jungler is standing there looking at him, all your camps are respawning. So every single second that you stand there and you look at each other, you're not falling behind. But if you don't put the pressure on the enemy jungle, if you're not able to force him to, like, follow you around the map or, like, follow you to contest camps or anything like that, then he's just going to be full clearing his jungle, and you're going to end up being absurdly behind. So maybe, like, we don't know what the situation would have been, right? Like, maybe Rylak would have seen Pantheon crossing and then been like, oh, the bot situation's not good, and then maybe he would run to, like, enemy blue, and then maybe they would invade that with Rumble, because they should have mid and top prio here. Like, Rumble beats K'Sante early and Ryze beats Aurelion so early, so maybe they could do something where they play for the blue, play for Velia's top side, and then it's just pure split map. And then in that case, LR would try to maybe dive bot, depending on, like, how the trading was going. Like, all these situations are going to be different based on what's actually happening within every single lane. So that's a possibility. Maybe Velia actually thinks that because he has a better smite than Xin Zhao, because of his execute on his Q, maybe he thinks, oh, I'm going to actually try to sneak away one of the camps that Rylak's doing. Let's say the Rumble and the Ryze hover one time and they invade together, and then, you know, there's not a bunch of wards dropped. Maybe the Pantheon thinks, oh, I could actually steal away a camp here. Then he, like, tries to get his Gromp back, and if that happens, he would end up really ahead. There's a bunch of different possibilities that could happen based on all the decisions that are made within the game. But I'm just trying to, like, list out different iterations of why it's not a mistake for bot lane to trade the way they did, because bot lane should be trying to secure the advantage with the fact that their jungler is invading bot side, and it's just the nature of their lane, right? Because the worst thing that could happen for Xin is that if LR is shitting on bot lane really hard, like, let's say the lane played out the way it should, and the Karma and Caitlyn are winning bot lane extremely hard into the Bard and Jhin, then Pantheon, has his bot camps up, can threaten to dive Navi. And if they're threatening to dive Navi, then Xin would have to be there to protect bot lane, to cover the dive, but then he's not farming and Velia has the ability to farm his camp. So these are all the things that you have to like think about when it comes to like a pro game and just jungle pathing. So in this instance, shouldn't Karma be ready to move? Like, how does Bard get first move? Well, Bard gets first move because he just straight up wins the lane. Like, because of if like this, like they're just straight up winning the lane. Like, you know, he traded flashes, they played aggressively. The wave is pushing in. Like, they essentially just won the lane so he can move first. That's like all it is. So in reality, the mistake is just that Reckless and Crowny played the lane poorly. Like, if they played the lane better, then Bard would not be able to move. Like, they can't even gank, really. The person that has no flash is Bard, but if Bard is good and he's like playing here, like if he plays in this zone, he can just portal through the wall towards his turret. So there's no gank that will ever happen. I think Velia is here because he has nothing else to do and he can invade Rylek's bot side camps. And then on top of that, Crowny and Reckless, because Crowny has no flash, probably think that they can be ganked, right? If they push like the way they want to push, if they push and then Bard portals on them and Velia's not there, with Zinjao, they're just dead. Well, they're not just dead. Crowny will die. Rylek kills all of his camps and he has a timer to invade. And the thing here is that Rylek is 1 camp away from 6. So it doesn't even matter if Rylek gets this camp or not. He will just be able to win when it comes to the Drake. He'll be able to get this crab and he'll be able to get Drake. So it's just kind of unplayable. Okay. Probably the best thing possible for Velia. Velia flashed in. It's honestly the best thing possible for Velia. Rylek committed, Rylek was a psychopath here. He eat into this bush, completely trolled. I mean, I don't even like this from Rylek theoretically, because what he's doing right now is a flip that is not even a flip. Pantheon should be able to win the Smite War versus Zinjao every single time. So sure, if Rylek gets it, he does like win the game here, but he doesn't need to actually get it. He just needs to keep Velia here. They get control. Jhin pushes bot. Then he gets bot crab, hits level 6, and then he's going to get Drake for free. That's all he needs to play for. So they are just fighting back. I mean, I do like that LR is fighting back here. The best thing that could have happened. Heal him. Probably tries to Q flash. Nemesis doesn't have conditions anymore. I mean, LR will still lose the crab because of the mid conditions. Like, Nemesis just used everything to try to help his Pantheon that has been getting completely fucked. But now he has no ability to play the game. He has no TP or anything. And Poby has ult. So, honestly, Velia might be even dead in this frame. Like, what I'm looking at right here, I think Velia is 100% dead. If Poby just ults behind him, Velia will die. Like, if Poby just ults like right here towards the portal or just right on top of him, Velia can't do anything. He has no flash. He's just dead. Poby should ult here. I don't know what Poby's scared of, but this is like really troll by him. This guy was insanely dead. I don't know why Poby didn't ult. He's sold his team so hard here. Can somebody tell me why Poby doesn't ult right now onto Velia? Velia has no E as well, right? Or maybe he has E. Actually, I think he casts E right here, right? I mean, still, the guy is fucking dead. The guy is fucking dead. I mean, also, Jhin should be moving at this earlier after he catches the minions that are on his turret. Like, as soon as this happens, I think Jhin should be moving, looking for a W. But Velia is, like, mega inting here. 3 CS greater than support's life. Yeah, no, I hate, like, what... This shit triggers me so hard because you have to fucking play the game. Even if Rylek made a mistake with how he played it, play the current situation. Nemesis is completely out of the fight. You know Caitlyn's not there because you know when Caitlyn based, so Caitlyn can't be there. If Caitlyn was coming, she would be like through mid at the mid tier 1, which is pretty unlikely that Caitlyn would run straight, but it's Caitlyn without flash. So, you know in this frame that Caitlyn's not here. And Velia just flashed in. Why is Poby not moving on him? Like, why is this not an all hands on deck situation? Like, how in this game is this not a situation where you're saying we need everyone here, bro? Some shit is fucking going down. The level 4 Pantheon has flashed into River. He is chasing through Bard portal to kill the fucking support that has no flash. Jin's not hovering for a W. Poby's not hovering to ult. It's crazy. Well, he missed his Q. It's fine, though. I mean, yeah. Poby ended up ghosting. Zin can just base. He'll then be able to play for the bot crab. Ooh. Where's the W? Poby didn't W. He tried to squeeze in a Q here. If he W's right now, I think Nemesis is just dead. Because Nemesis will flash and still be rune prisoned, but he'll be like here. And then Poby will proc phase rush with his Q and walk him down. I think Nemesis is just dead here. Poby just misplayed. He had W up and everything. Boss is proxying. Proxying on Ryze's base timer, though. Honestly, Boss is doing pretty well in the matchup, but like he's about to give Ryze a free kill. You know, the other problem for Ryze here is that he popped his elixir for that fight. Didn't get as much as he wanted off of it. Why are we using our ult, man? Maitner just gave him the ult just to see if he would waste it. Yeah, Maitner here, he's like, he's walking into melee range of Boss because he wants to be ulted. Because the way that the Rumble matchup works versus K'Sante is that Rumble generally pokes and wins the lane. And then K'Sante at 6, if he hits Qs and plays well, he can, if he hits everything, he can burn Rumble's flash. And then Rumble will have to play safe, ult a wave. And then they'll lane again, and then the Rumble will have no flash. And then on the next ulti timer, K'Sante could play to maybe kill the Rumble if the Rumble misplays, right? Or, you know, if you have a Pantheon jungle in this case, you use your ult to burn the Rumble's flash, and then he gets Pantheon ulted, then he dies. This situation, though, in this situation, Maitner didn't have to flash when K'Sante ulted. So now Maitner is going to be in a really fucking good spot with his tabbies, because it delays the window where Boss can actually try to burn his flash. Poby is just 2-0 for free, though. I mean, I can understand why Velia did what he did. It was honestly one of the best outcomes for him personally. But now Poby is mega juiced, making the game volatile for Acel for no reason. Well, to be fair, Pantheon is completely fucked. Like, if the game the game is GG'd here. The game is like GG'd here. Because they're going to be able to get push mid. They're going to be able to have push bot. So they're going to be able to play for this crab. Look at Zin CS. He's 44 CS to 28 CS. He's going to get crab. He's going to get Drake. They can play for every objective. Acel is super far behind. Like, if Navi plays well from this point, it is going to be almost impossible for LR to come back. Because they just don't have things to play through, right? Their Caitlyn ended up losing flash. Their Caitlyn's not ahead. It's kind of ahead, but it's not like a win con within the game. It's not like they're not obliterating pot. Their jungle is extremely far behind. Their mid and their top already lose and are trying to scale it within the game. It's like they just don't have many tools within this game to play. So to be fair, this is a much better situation than it could have been, all things considered. I mean, also to take everything into account, Samdi's lane could have been better than it ended up being. Part of the reason why it ended up so fucked up is because Bard ended up fully moving to help the Xin Zhao, which gave Caitlyn and Karma time to breathe within the lane, right? Like, I think they got a base off or whatever. They got their conditions back within the lane, where if Xin was not invading, Jhin could have crashed that wave with Bard, the wave that was pushing in. They could base, come back to lane, and then they would be even/ahead. LR can't fight anything right now. Their best bet is ulting bot right now. This is a mistake from Bard. Bard shows mid for no reason. He shows mid, and right now, Jhin should die. Jhin should die right now on this wave. Pantheon needs to ult bot, and they need to kill Jhin. I think this is a huge mistake that I see people make. Moving your support like this and showing is fucking horrible. You should want to, like if you're moving, you want to, half move. You want to stay out of vision. Him moving and dropping a ward, he's selling his Jhin right now. The Jhin should be dead in what I'm looking at right now. Let's see what ends up happening. Does LR capitalize? I mean, they could even do it on the next wave. And Jhin must die for this. No, that's crazy. I mean, look, you don't actually have to kill the Jhin, but you have to make sure the Jhin does not get to catch this wave for free. How can Bard show mid? Pantheon have ult. You have a Caitlyn as well. You have Caitlyn ult, whatever. How can you show fully like this and the AD carry is able to catch a wave? Jhin assist ping. He thought he was dying on this wave. Yeah, I mean, The Jin is, yeah, he is fucking scared. Yeah, I don't know what, like, I mean, if you dive Jin and you go 1-for-1, it's fucking huge. I mean, like Pantheon stun into K-Trap. You just got to make it fucked up. Like, I mean, maybe you can't dive him at 100-0 with barrier, but you go in like 2 parts. You ult him on this wave. You W, you just send it. You have to play it semi-well. You can't like get rooted in the turret and take a million turret shots, but you have to abuse, like, you got to abuse this guy for being here. Maybe they just think they're too fucking weak. When did Karma base? I don't think Karma should base. What's he base for? For wards? I mean, he can base. He can base, but he should base earlier, no? If he wants to base, can he base earlier? Maybe he can't. Yeah, maybe he can't. It's just bad because to me, you're not contesting Grubs. You should base here, I guess, but because like you want to get your wards. It just feels really shit that you're not contesting Grubs and you're not dying bot. Normally, when you make a play for Grubs, I mean, I could show you how good teams play. Look here at Genji when they do, like, when they're doing Grubs. Look at how they play it. So when the Jarvan goes to do Grubs, watch what Chovy does. Look at the minimap here. They're playing against a Pantheon as well. They're so afraid of the bot lane getting dove on this timer that when Canyon does Grubs, look at Azir. Azir walks from mid. Just watch the minimap. Walks from mid over these pink wards all the way bot. And he sits in this tri-bush to cover this wave so the bot lane can't be dove, right? And this is like 2v2 with the Pantheon on top. And then Canyon does 2 Grubs so the notification doesn't go off. And then he goes here and he covers the next wave. So Chovy goes, he covers the first wave, and then the next wave they could be diveable on. Then Canyon covers the next wave, so their bot lane can't be dove. Like, that's how a good team reacts to these bot dive situations. And I feel like Navi is like selling their AD there, but LR is not punishing it. Why does Canyon not finish Grubs? Because if he finishes the 3rd Grub, then it gives the notification so they know exactly when he finishes it. And if they know exactly when he finishes it, then they can still make decision to dive bot anyway when Chovy goes back to his mid wave. So he takes 2 Grubs so that the notification is delayed so that he can already be running bot or like basing, like almost be done with his base when the enemy team gets the notification. Nothing else is happening. I mean, Navi got both objectives. Boss has to flash. Rylik just goes for this gank. Game is still really fucking hard. I'm just going through seeing like when the next action happens. Nemesis has rallies. I mean, I think the next time that LR can realistically fight is when Nemesis gets his big ult. When he gets his first big ult, I think they can fight. This timer, Maitner has TP. He's only level 10 though. Sundered Sky completed for both junglers. I mean, LR is, it is playable at this point. It's hard, but it is playable. Nemesis has big ult now though. So this is when they do want to fight. What happens here? Honestly, based by Poby. This is really fucking good what Poby does here. Because like they have really strong position right now. If Poby tries to walk from here, then LR can just stay together and they can just like poke him out. But if you look at the wait, what happened to Kate? Why is Kate having to walk all the way around? If you see what Poby does, to finish my point, if you see what Poby does, even though he has to burn his flash, he's able to like allow his team to get much better position, even though he has to flash out, and then the fight is so much easier for everyone else. What I wanted to look at is why does Crownie have to walk all the way around here? Like this is troll to me. Like, look, they have this trap line. Karma is bot right now, but I think Karma should not be bot. I think they should be holding this banana brush. And Crownie should never be forced to walk all the way around. I don't know if Crownie was going to try to go back to mid on this wave, but Boss should go mid. And Crownie should just be here hitting the Drake, standing like in range where he can hit them, and he's still like fine. But now Crownie has to walk all the way around, which is bad. But if you see Poby doing this, like, it allows his team to get so much better position. And he's still, like, pressuring them from the bot side. And now they just send. That is big ult, but it didn't get what they wanted. And yeah, I mean, they're in a really good spot now. Boss wasn't able to ult. Oh my god, boss. What are we doing? Ay. He's trying to Cassante. I guess it ended up all right. Surprised Rise didn't ult here again to like reposition. Because he can like ult back here, you know? He could ult from like try to like back here. And they can like be in position to fight still. Because right now, LR is not that strong, right? But okay. I don't think Rumble ult was that good, to be honest. He does the line Rumble ult. It's fine Rumble ult, honestly. It's a fine Rumble ult. It just kind of sucks that Velia is able to immune it all for the Rumble. Also, Maitner TP'd and Boss didn't. Because Maitner has his top quest completed and he wanted the shield. This is weird to me that Poby is like completely uninvolved. Like they're running for the hills. Overall, it still is a win for Navi because they got 2 Drakes though. Not bad. I mean, that is like a very strong timing for LR. Now they have no big ult on Aurelion Soul, so I don't even know if Nemesis will be able to have it up for the next Drake. Bar just has timer. Nemesis really didn't want to flash. And Boss is proxying on the other side during this. And Boss is just killing himself now. His team is defending this play. Reckless is here bot side. He knows his own Pantheon's in base. And then he's just proxying and killing himself again. Yeah, it's free delivery, bro. Insanely free delivery. Rylak is so happy. Honestly, considering how much of a lead Rylak had, he kind of just tossed it at enemy Raptors. Bard has ult here, and Nemesis is no flash. He might die. Rise is going to ult on him. Nemesis is dead here, I think. Free ult. Never mind, it's Europe. Just kidding. Kappa. I mean, this guy is going in a straight line. He cannot go anywhere, bro. You know the move speed. He's going in a straight line. Paris just doesn't ult him. Like, if he just puts it here, Nemesis can't do anything. He has no flash. He's just dead. Bro, Boss went double Negatron, and now he's going Iceborne Gauntlet. I don't really like that. I don't think he'll be able to fight that well with Iceborne. I feel like if you go these components, you might as well just do the Jock Show build, you know? But I think Iceborne is not that good on Cassante in this game. Walking directly over Vision. I don't know how this ward here is. This ward is here, and it's not swept. No one has a ping for it either. They're going through bot side trying to contest. Ace will have big ult. Acel doesn't have big ult. They can't contest this without big ult. I think they'll just lose. Rumble is so strong. He's level 13. Has ult. Rise is insanely strong as well. Maynard has TP. Why are they not fighting this? Am I missing something? They use the Herald mid. Nemesis TP. Nemesis is completely out of the fight here. He just TP'd mid. Why is Navi not contesting this Drake? Like, they know right here that Velia is on it. I don't know why they're not just running at the Drake. Boss has no TP and Maitner has TP as well. Are they going to give this? They're going one more midwave? They're actually going back to midwave here? On third Drake timer, when the enemy Cassante was top, they know exactly how long it's going to take for Cassante to be here because they see him move on a ward. They know exactly when he's leaving top. And Maitner has TP. And Nemesis is pinned mid without his TP. Like, this is some shit that is just, like, insane to me. Why are you so scared to fight this? They TP now. They Bard ult. And this is, like, the worst way they could have played this because, like, Hansamdi decides to fucking go back midwave at this point. Why does he go back mid here? They're so uncoordinated. Paris is walking in, ulting. Like, he's like, yo, bro, they're on Drake. Rylak goes back mid. Jin goes back mid. You know, the Rise is in a position where he can fight. Rumble has TP. And the Jin is like, put himself in the worst position possible. Now, Acel has big ult. Somehow, he ends up getting the Drake. It's because Pantheon is stunned. He's not able to Q smite it. It's rooted after. Velia just dies. What does boss do here? Okay. It's on to Maitner. I mean, Jin is just opening up. Nemesis has no flash. Nemesis is beyond dead. He has no W either. He didn't get a reset. Nemesis is dead. I don't know. I got no idea. I got no idea how this sequence happened. They don't know they're on Drake. They 100% know they're on Drake, bro. How do they not know they're on Drake? I mean, if they don't know they're on Drake, I don't know what the fuck they think is happening. When they walk there and they see the Drake is not in the pit, I don't know why they would go one more midwave. But even outside of that, they're the team that should be like, and they see Crowny walking bot. They see Crowny walking bot on this ward, and they know that he's not on the wave. So like, what else would like Crowny? Like then they see Crowny go hit the wave and then walk to the Drake. Like if they don't know that LR is on Drake, I got no words. Here they know they're going one more midwave anyway. Like LR is the team that's on the timer. Boss is moving without TP late to Drake. There's nothing more you can say, bro. Navi is just trolling. They're pretty lucky this doesn't end up absolutely terrible. Yeah, the Rise is pretty fucking strong. I mean, Rise was already OP in this game based off like what was up. I mean, the Rise has not even played this game that well. He's just getting all the kills. Like honestly, I think that there was nothing that Rise did that was like impressive this game. I think he should have been faster on the play where Bard was dying. He should have got another kill on Nemesis mid when he popped his elixir. He got just free kills from boss. Like he got a free kill from boss proxying. Like he just got inted, but he didn't make any like good plays with his ult. He didn't make any overload plays. He didn't do anything creative macro wise. Like I don't think this guy gapped Nemesis like at all in this game. It's just circumstance. You're playing Asol into Rise. The bot situation that was supposed to win, they got shit on. Your jungler then ended up super far behind. So it's just fucking GG, you know? I mean, Navi just plays for Soul, and that's it. I don't think that was hitting Nemesis, no? Yeah, that is not hitting him, bro. It actually might. He might get the bullshits done. Like, when I first saw it, it looked like it wasn't hitting. Like, he could have just, like, walked down and he would have been fine. But you don't know with Bard hitbox. Honestly, that could have hit. That could have hit. It's fine. Fine to flash it. Velia's here as well. Jin hovered top and they saw Xin. So this is their timer to make something happen on bot. That's why Nemesis is like trying to do something. But unfortunately, Rise is just simply unkillable. And Paris is already defending it. So even though this is a timer where they could do something on bot, it's extremely unrealistic that anything good happens. This guy's just inting. Reckless run. Reckless is dead. Maybe not. He walks these off. Tap Q slowing. Yeah, it's horrible for them. Why is my Rumble basing? He can go one more? No, okay, never mind. He should be basing. If he knows that, if he sees Asol basing, he should base. It's actually crazy because normally you'd be able to get one more wave, but because of the mid lane boots, he can't get one more wave here. He should have just kept his base. He like recalled, and then he canceled his recall. And I guess he did end up getting one more wave. I don't think it really matters. It's like you can choose to get the one more wave if you need it for an item. If that gives him arm guard, then it's really good to do. All right, Drake in 45 should be just free Drake for Navi, right? Once again, Nemesis doesn't have his big ult because of the circumstance of the game. He also has no flash. I mean, LR just can't win at this point. Boss? This guy does not want to play Cassante anymore. Nemesis got his big ult. I mean, honestly, Nemesis did a good job preparing his big ult for every fight, even if it was hard. Velia had to go and try to steal. Could Crowny have walked up more? It's good that Maitner is TPing into the fight for his big shield. Is normally if like Kha'zix does the same thing and saves his TP and TPs to the Drake and has a massive shield, because Kha'zix is such a tanky champion already, champion is so OP when it comes to getting all the bushes. They're just completely aced. Dry. Wow, that's just GG, isn't it? There's not much to say about that. We just can't fight anymore. Baron. There's no point to really VOD review this part, right? It's just over. I can't do anything. Game's unplayable. Any team is Soul, enemy team is Baron. It's kind of a stomp. I mean, honestly, I feel like LR's plays better when they don't have such specific conditions to play for, you know? When they can just kind of play the game and they don't have to like play a game of, all right, we're going to like invade, you're going to push bot on this timer, like you have to win your lane. Like they don't play that well around those conditions. They're much better at like just playing comps at scale. Everyone kind of does their own thing. Other teams don't pressure you that hard in the LEC, and then you just win the game later, right? I feel like that's a much better style for LR. And I think they kind of have that. Like, that's kind of what Asol does within the game. But I think the Pantheon, Caitlyn, Karma is probably hard for them to play. Not much to say about this. I'm just kind of skipping through. And they get the shutdown, but, like, it doesn't matter. It's 10K. Relic has GA. Grounding got hit by this. Ends up being fine for right now. Fortunately, that's Nemesis's big ult, so that means that they won't be able to contest Elder, I don't think. Yeah, they can't contest Elder without Nemesis's big ult. GG. Yeah, GG. Yeah, pretty much a fisting session. They just gotta rework what they're gonna do in these situations, because yeah, when it comes to how they drafted this game, they're probably gonna be in similar spots. I think most teams, I don't think they'll get Mundo one more time. And LR really needs to win next week against SK. It's like people are really hyped because they have 4 wins, but they're still in an extremely dangerous spot because all the teams above them have 5 wins. And Heretics is probably going to lose both games, so they're probably going to be below them. Shifters would have to win 2 to be above them. They're going to get 1 win against KCB. But if SK ends up beating Los Ratones and they're both 4-5, then SK would end up being the team that advances over LR because they would have head-to-head. I mean, obviously, I guess it would be if there's 3-way. SK beat Heretics too, so they would just have the head-to-head over everyone. So Los Ratones, they have to beat SK next week. If they lose to SK and they lose to Vitality, then they can't make it, right? There's no world where they can make it if that happens. They have to beat SK. Let's see if they do it next week.